Have you ever felt like you don't belong in this world, not in a depressing way, but as if your soul came from somewhere else entirely? Like the rules, the systems, the way people live just doesn't sit right with you. Maybe you've always felt like you were different, as though you were here for something bigger, something deeper, something unseen. If that resonates, you're not alone. That feeling isn't random. It's a sign that you're waking up to who you really are, a chosen one, aligning with the fifth dimension. You see, this world as we know it, the one of deadlines, routines, and endless distractions, is just a thin layer of reality. It's like staring at the surface of an ocean, unaware of the vast, mysterious depths below. But when you start to awaken, when your soul begins to remember its purpose, it's like a ripple on the surface becomes a wave, and suddenly, the stillness of your old life is shattered. The truth, as unsettling as it might feel at first, is that the world you've been taught to see is not the whole picture. Have you noticed that the things you used to care about, material success, social approval, even your old goals, just don't matter the way they used to? Maybe you feel a pull towards something you can't quite name yet, a longing for meaning so profound it aches in your chest. That's not a coincidence. That's your soul whispering to you, calling you to step into the deeper reality of the fifth dimension. In this dimension, life isn't just about survival or achievement. It's about alignment. Alignment with love, truth, and the interconnectedness of all things. But this transition isn't easy. In fact, it often feels like your world is falling apart. Relationships might end. Careers might lose their meaning. You might feel like you're standing in the ruins of a life you once loved. But let me ask you this, if you're holding on to a life that no longer resonates with your soul, is it really falling apart, or is it falling into place? Think about it. What if the chaos around you is actually sacred order? What if every loss, every heartbreak, every moment of confusion is clearing the way for your higher self to emerge?
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lessons.
The fifth dimension isn't a place you travel to, it's a state of being. It's a vibrational shift that requires you to let go of everything that isn't aligned with your truth. And letting go is terrifying, isn't it? But here's the paradox: the more you hold on, the more painful the process becomes. The more you resist, the heavier the burden feels. And yet, when you surrender even just a little, there's a strange sense of relief, isn't there? Like you're finally exhaling after holding your breath for far too long. That's because surrender isn't giving up, it's giving into the flow of the universe. And when you do, something miraculous happens. You start to notice signs, little winks from the universe that you're on the right path. Maybe it's synchronicities, like seeing repeating numbers or hearing the same message from different sources. Maybe it's a sense of calm washing over you in the midst of chaos, as if some unseen force is reassuring you that everything is unfolding as it should. But here's the question: do you trust it? Do you trust the signs? Or do you dismiss them as coincidences, too afraid to believe that the universe is speaking directly to you? Because here's the thing about being chosen: it's not about being special or superior. It's about being willing. Willing to see beyond the illusion, willing to face your fears, willing to become the person your soul came here to be. And that's not easy. It requires courage, the kind of courage that doesn't come from the mind but from the heart. It requires you to step into the unknown, not because you have all the answers, but because you trust the questions. So let me ask you, what would your life look like if you stopped running from the unknown and started walking toward it? When you align with the fifth dimension, you begin to see that life isn't happening to you, it's happening for you. Every challenge, every loss, every moment of confusion is a sacred invitation to grow. And as you grow, your vibration shifts. You start to attract people, opportunities, and experiences that resonate with your higher frequency. You start to feel lighter, freer, more alive. But this isn't just about feeling good. It's about becoming who you were always meant to be. And that requires work, inner work, shadow work, the kind of work that makes you confront the parts of yourself you've been avoiding. The fears, the doubts, the wounds you've buried so deep, you've almost forgotten they're there. Almost. Because when you're chosen, you can't ignore your shadows forever. They will surface one way or another. And when they do, you have a choice. Will you face them with compassion, or will you run from them in fear? Will you see them as obstacles, or will you recognize them as the very keys to your ascension? You see, the fifth dimension isn't about escaping the darkness. It's about integrating it. It's about realizing that your shadows aren't here to harm you, they're here to heal you. They're the parts of yourself that are crying out for love, for acceptance, for light. And when you give them that, when you stop fighting them and start embracing them, you unlock a level of freedom you never thought possible. But freedom comes with responsibility. As a chosen one, you're not just here to awaken for your own sake. You're here to be a guide, a light, a beacon for others. Your journey isn't just about you, it's about the collective. Each time you heal a part of yourself, you heal a part of the world. Each time you raise your vibration, you raise the vibration of those around you. So let me ask you, are you ready to take that responsibility seriously? Are you ready to step into your role as a chosen one? Or will you let fear hold you back, telling yourself that you're not ready, not worthy, not capable? Because the truth is, you are ready. You wouldn't be hearing this if you weren't. The universe doesn't make mistakes. It doesn't call the unprepared. If you're being called to the fifth dimension, it's because your soul knows you're ready, even if your mind doesn't. The question is, will you answer the call? So, you felt the call. You've sensed the pull towards something greater, something beyond the ordinary. But let's be honest, awakening to the fifth dimension isn't all bliss and light. It's messy. It's raw. It's uncomfortable. And as much as we'd love for spiritual growth to feel like a gentle unfolding, the truth is, it often feels like being ripped apart so you can be put back together in a higher, truer form. Have you ever felt like you're being stretched between two worlds? Like there's a part of you clinging to the life you've always known, while another part of you is yearning to break free. That tension, that push and pull, is one of the clearest signs you're aligning with the fifth dimension. It's the space between who you've been and who you're becoming, and it's not always a comfortable place to be. One of the first things you'll notice during this shift is that your body starts to feel different. Maybe you're more sensitive to energy, to people, to places. You might feel drained after being in crowds or around certain individuals. Foods you once loved might no longer agree with you. Your sleep patterns might become erratic, or you might feel waves of fatigue that seem to come out of nowhere. These are what we call ascension symptoms, and while they can be frustrating, they're actually signs that your physical body is adjusting to a higher vibration. Think about it this way: imagine you've been living your whole life at 3D frequency, like a radio tuned to one specific station. But as you align with the fifth dimension, It's like someone is turning the dial to a higher frequency. At first, there's static. Your system is recalibrating, and it takes time to adjust. But once you do, the clarity, the harmony, the alignment feels like nothing you've ever experienced before. So what can you do to move through this transition with grace? First and foremost, listen to your body. If you're tired, rest. If you're thirsty, drink. If you're craving solitude, honor that. Your body is the vessel through which your soul is ascending, and it needs your care and attention now more than ever. But it's not just your body that's shifting, it's your emotions too. You might find yourself feeling waves of sadness, anger, or fear that seem to come out of nowhere. Old memories might resurface, bringing with them pain you thought you'd left behind. This emotional turbulence isn't a sign that something has gone wrong. It's a sign that something is being released. You see, as you align with the fifth dimension, you can't carry the baggage of the past with you. The hurts, the grudges, the limiting beliefs, they're all too heavy for this higher vibration. So they rise to the surface, begging to be acknowledged, felt, and released. This is what we call shadow work, and it's one of the most important and challenging parts of the ascension process. Let me ask you this: when was the last time you sat with your pain instead of running from it? When was the last time you allowed yourself to feel your emotions fully, without numbing them, suppressing them, or distracting yourself? Because here's the thing: what you resist persists. The more you avoid your pain, the more it controls you. But when you face it, when you sit with it, when you hold it with compassion, it begins to dissolve. And as it dissolves, something extraordinary happens. You create space for joy, for love, for peace. You begin to feel lighter, freer, more expansive. This is the essence of fifth dimensional living, releasing what no longer serves you so you can align with the truth of who you are. But this isn't just an internal process. As your vibration shifts, you'll notice changes in your external reality too. Relationships might feel strained, especially with people who are still rooted in 3D consciousness. You might feel misunderstood, isolated, even judged. People might say you've changed, and they're right. You have. But here's the question: will you let their fear hold you back? Or will you have the courage to keep moving forward? Because the truth is, not everyone will understand your journey. Not everyone will support your growth. And that's okay. You're not here to please everyone, you're here to awaken. And as you awaken, you'll start to notice that the things, people, and environments that once felt comfortable now feel heavy, draining, or even toxic. This is because your vibration no longer matches theirs. It's like trying to tune into a high-frequency radio station while still holding onto a low-frequency signal. It just doesn't work. This is where boundaries come in. Setting boundaries isn't about cutting people off or shutting the world out. It's about honoring your energy, your needs, your truth. It's about saying, I love you, but I love myself too. And sometimes that means walking away from relationships, from habits, from patterns that no longer resonate with your soul. But here's the paradox: the more you let go, the more you gain. The more space you create, the more aligned opportunities, relationships, and experiences flow into your life. It's as if the universe is saying, thank you for making room. Here's something even better. And the better isn't just external. It's internal too. You start to feel a deeper sense of peace, even in the midst of chaos. You start to trust life more, knowing that everything is unfolding for your highest good. You start to see challenges not as obstacles but as opportunities for growth. But let me ask you this, are you willing to trust the process, even when it doesn't make sense? Are you willing to let go of the need to control, to predict, to understand everything, and instead surrender to the mystery of the universe? Because the fifth dimension isn't about having all the answers. It's about living the questions. And as you live the questions, you'll find that the answers reveal themselves not in the way you expect, but in the way you need. A sudden insight, a synchronistic encounter, a moment of clarity that feels like it came from somewhere beyond you. These are the gifts of alignment, the rewards of trusting the process. But trust doesn't come easily, does it? It requires faith not in some external force, but in yourself, in your ability to navigate the unknown, in your capacity to rise above fear, in your connection to the infinite wisdom of your soul. So let me ask you one more question before we move on. What would your life look like if you trusted yourself completely? If you knew, deep in your bones, that you are exactly where you're meant to be, and that every step you take is guided by a force greater than you can imagine. If you've made it this far, you already understand that awakening to the fifth dimension is not for the faint of heart. It's a journey that breaks down everything you thought you knew about yourself and the world, only to rebuild you into something stronger, something clearer, something more authentic. But what if I told you that your awakening isn't just about you? What if I told you that your journey is part of something much bigger, a collective shift that's transforming not just individuals, but the entire world? You see, chosen ones are not awakened by accident. You didn't stumble into this path by chance. Your soul chose to be here, now at this pivotal time in human history. Why? Because the world is undergoing a profound transformation, a shift from fear to love, from separation to unity, from the dense vibrations of the third dimension to the expansive frequencies of the fifth. And you, as a chosen one, are here to guide that shift. Let me ask you this, have you ever felt a deep sense of purpose, even if you couldn't quite articulate it? A knowing that you're here for something important, something meaningful. That feeling isn't random. It's your soul remembering why it came here. It's the call of your mission, your purpose, your reason for being. But here's the thing about purpose, it's not always glamorous. It's not always easy. In fact, being a chosen one often means walking a lonely path. It means questioning everything you've been taught, facing the shadows most people avoid, and holding a vision for the future, even when the present feels overwhelming. And yet, despite the challenges, you're still here. You're still answering the call. Why? Because deep down you know that the world needs you. You know that your light, your wisdom, your courage are not just gifts, they're responsibilities. As a chosen one, you are a bridge between dimensions. You are here to bring the light of the fifth dimension into the third. You are here to remind people of their own divinity, their own power, their own capacity to create a better world. But how do you do that? How do you guide others without losing yourself in the process? The first step is simple, yet profound: be the light. The fifth dimension isn't something you preach, it's something you embody. It's not about convincing others to change, it's about becoming the change yourself. When you live from a place of love, authenticity, and alignment, you naturally inspire others to do the same, not because you tell them to, but because your energy speaks louder than words ever could. Think about it. Have you ever been around someone whose presence feels like a breath of fresh air? Someone who radiates peace, kindness, or joy even without saying a word. That's the power of alignment. When you align with the fifth dimension, your very being becomes a beacon. a lighthouse guiding others through the storm. But being the light doesn't mean denying your darkness. In fact, the more you embrace your shadows, the brighter your light becomes. Why? Because true light isn't about perfection, it's about authenticity. It's about being real, being human, being whole. So let me ask you, are you willing to own all of who you are, the light and the dark, the strengths and the flaws, the courage and the fear? Because when you do, you give others permission to do the same. You create a ripple effect, a wave of authenticity that helps to heal not just individuals, but the collective. And that's the key word here, collective. The fifth dimension isn't just about personal ascension, it's about collective evolution. It's about realizing that we're all connected, that every thought, every action, every vibration we emit affects the whole. As a chosen one, you are here to hold that awareness, to live from that truth, and to help others do the same. But how do you help others without losing yourself? How do you balance your role as a guide with your own need for growth, rest, and healing? The answer lies in boundaries. Being a chosen one doesn't mean sacrificing yourself for the sake of others. It doesn't mean taking on everyone else's pain or trying to fix the world. It means honoring your own energy, your own needs, your own truth, so you can show up as your highest self. And sometimes that means stepping back. Sometimes it means saying no. Sometimes it means choosing solitude over socializing, self-care over self-sacrifice. And that's okay. In fact, it's necessary. Because you can't pour from an empty cup. You can't guide others if your own light is dimmed. But here's the beautiful paradox: the more you take care of yourself, the more you're able to serve others. The more you align with your own truth, the more you inspire others to align with theirs. The more you embody the fifth dimension, the more you help to anchor it into the collective consciousness. And make no mistake, the collective is awakening. It might not always look like it, especially when you turn on the news or scroll through social media. But beneath the surface, a profound shift is taking place. People are questioning old systems, old beliefs, old ways of being. They're searching for something deeper, something real, something true. And that's where you come in. As a chosen one, you are here to hold the vision for what's possible. You are here to remind people that a better world isn't just a dream, it's a reality waiting to be created. You are here to be a living example of what it means to live in alignment, to choose love over fear, to see the divine in all things. But let me ask you this: what does that better world look like to you? If you could create a reality aligned with the fifth dimension, what would it feel like? What would it look like? What would it take to get there? Because that vision, that feeling, that intention is the seed of the new earth. And as a chosen one, you are the gardener. It's your job to nurture that seed, not through force, but through faith. Not through control, but through surrender. Not through fear, but through love. And as you do, you'll begin to see the fruits of your labor. You'll notice more people waking up, more acts of kindness, more moments of synchronicity. You'll see the ripple effect of your light, your truth, your love. And when the doubts creep in, because they will remember this: you are not alone. There are millions of chosen ones across the globe, each playing their part in this great awakening. Together we are weaving a web of light, a network of souls aligned with the fifth dimension, a collective force that is unstoppable. So let me leave you with this final question: if you knew, without a shadow of a doubt, that you were here for a reason, that your light, your love, your presence could change the world, how would you live your life? Because the truth is, you are here for a reason. You are a chosen one. And the fifth dimension is not just your destination, it's your destiny. Thank you for being here. Thank you for answering the call. The world needs your light now more than ever. Let's rise together.